Well, hiya, BookTube. Bill Ruttenberg here with the Ruttenberg Library. I wanted to come to you today with another book chat. This book chat is going to be about a book I recently read, one of the last one that I got finished. It's called The Last Neanderthal by Claire Cameron. This was a good book. It's got a two-part story to it, two storylines running through it. It's from Little Brown and Company, out of New York, and it is a 2017 book. This book, like I said, has two basic settings. The first one is clear back in, I could just call it caveman days, but Neanderthal times, and it is just like the title says. It's about the last Neanderthal, the last family that was there, right when Homo sapiens are getting ready to come in, and so the one storyline takes place with the Neanderthal. Her name is Girl, and they've got like a little family unit there. You got Big Mother, which is her mom. You got him, which is her brother. You got Girl, and then you got this other. You got Bent, which is a brother that was born with a deformity, and then you've got Runt, which is this odd little character who shows up and ends up getting basically adopted by their family unit. Runt looks, he is a runt, you know, where Girl is kind of a big, thick, muscular character. Runt is just like he said, his name, Runt. He's, you know, skinny. His head's not even shaped the same way as Girl. And throughout the story, you know, she's talking about this description of him and how she doesn't even know how he's going to survive. The whole family doesn't know how he's going to survive, but they had pity on him. Anyway, the second story that takes place is with Rosamund Gale, and she is an archaeologist. She's an older woman, and I say older, late 30s. And she's an archaeologist who has made this big discovery in France. And she has found this cave where she's found some skeletons. And these two skeletons that she finds are in the ground. They're face to face. And it's kind of cool. They have a picture in this book here at the end. I'll show you. Once they get the full thing dug up, you see there, you got two skeletons. Now these two skeletons have got different shaped skulls. One's a Neanderthal, one's a modern day human. And so Rosamund, or Rose, she has to put together this story in her archaeological dig. Why are these two skeletons, who are different species, why are they sitting buried next to each other, looking at each other? And the modern day museum that's sponsoring her wants to say that this is a love story, that you had a Neanderthal who fell in love with a modern day human. And she's like, you know, the thoughts there are, no, that didn't happen. And so you get this whole questioning thing through the whole story. So anyway, these two storylines, both Girl and Rosamund Gale are both pregnant in the two different storylines. And so this whole story goes through and tells the whole book goes through and tells the story of these two pregnant women from very different eras. And in the Neanderthal time, they're getting ready to go down to the fish are getting ready to come upstream, and it's the mating season and all that kind of stuff for Girl and Big Mother and him and Runt and Bent. That whole family unit, they're getting ready to go down from their cave down to this kind of a gathering area. And all the different families, the Neanderthal families, always meet there when the fish come upstream, and they eat, they get their fill, they go on a buffalo hunt, and then they are trying to, basically it's mating season for them. They're trying to extend their family lives. And Girl is of the age that she can go find a family of her own to live with and to take care of. She wants to become a big mother, and along the way, she's presented with a huge problem. Remember, these are Neanderthals, but her brother, is also of age, and he's just about to the point where he's looking to try to take a mate, and him and girl end up girl ends up pregnant, and so she's got a problem. Now, this is taboo in their society, and Big Mother kicks her out of the family group, and she's stuck out on her own, because that, obviously it's not supposed to happen between brother and sister. And Big Mother's worried about this whole ordeal, what's going to happen, because that's taboo. She gets kicked out of the family unit because she has the best chance of survival. And so along the way, she goes out, tries to survive on her own, ends up coming back to the family unit, and what she finds is that pretty much everybody dies. Everybody's dead when she gets back, because the family needs all the members to survive. And since they didn't have all of the members there to pay attention and take care of one another, since that whole unit was not there, they got attacked by some wild animals. And so now she is by herself, and the only one that survives was Runt. He happens to survive because he kind of hid away. Well, anyway, she finds Runt, and now her main goal is to take care of Runt and make sure that the two of them survive. When she goes down to the river for the fish, nobody shows up. It's just her and Runt. Nobody shows up at all. Well, she decides to track where her sister went, because the previous year her sister had went and found a family of her own. Well, she tracks her sister, and guess what? That whole family unit's dead. And so we leave the story with that, and then all along the way, and by the way, you'll read like 2 or 3 chapters on the Neanderthal, and then it flashes forward to the archaeologist for usually just 1 chapter, maybe 2, but usually 1. And then it goes to 2, 3, 4 chapters, then 1. 2, 3, 4 chapters, then 1. So anyway, you kind of go back and forth. There's no confusion on who you're talking about, though. I mean, you can definitely differentiate between the 2 stories. But the 2 storylines are kind of running parallel to one another. And so, as one finds out she's pregnant, the other finds out she's pregnant. And then the different problems go, back and forth between the 2 storylines. And so this whole time, Rosamund Gale is going through her own ordeals. She's got a guy that she's married to, but they hadn't been able to have a baby up to this point. Well, she does end up pregnant, but at the same time she ends up pregnant, she finds this huge archaeological find in the cave, and it's definitely an area where she's worried about going home for her pregnancy and leaving everything behind, because somebody else is going to take all the credit, and she's worked her whole life for this. And so we get a lot of these trials that women go through when they have to go through childbirth. They have to give up their lives to go have the baby and take care of the baby, and it's a theme in both of these stories. And how do women deal with this in obviously very different time periods? So it's a big story of motherhood and what it means to become a mother and to have the species, survive. And so when we go back to the Neanderthal timeline, basically what ends up happening is we end up finding the Neanderthals towards the end of the story. The Neanderthals girl finds out she's the only one left at all. She is the last Neanderthal, and she runs into another species along the way at the very end of the story. And so I don't want to tell the whole things that, you know, kind of ruins it. But there are a few surprises in here that were very interesting. Rosamund Gale ends up, she gets her archaeological dig, and she goes to the museum, asks for funding, gets fully funded. But like I said, she ended up having to go through the issues of turning over her project to another person who is not nearly as qualified as her, or so she feels. And so this is a great story about just motherhood and loyalty. There's a theme running through it on loyalty. So good story, BookTube. I'd recommend the book. It was interesting. I don't know if I'm going to give it a very high rating. It probably, the more I think about it, I was going to start with a 3.5 rating, and I'm kind of more moving towards a 4-star rating. I might stick with 3.5, and maybe over time, because the longer I sit, because it's been a couple days since I finished this, I've been, you know, kind of thinking about it. It's moving towards a 4-star rating for me. But I'd recommend giving it a try. So BookTube, thank you for watching. I hope this helps you want to pick up The Last Neanderthal by Claire Cameron. And I hope everybody's having a great day. Thank you for watching. Happy reading.